and I'm probably going to do something where I'm going to double check if you can hear what I am saying. I have like a little microphone on now, so hopefully that is picking up my sound. Let me see. I'm signing into my own. Okay, you can't hear me. I'm signing into my own. Okay, you can't hear me. Awesome. All right, I think I'm gonna like place my microphone a little bit closer and see if that is easier for you. Yeah, I've got a. I don't know why I didn't have sound before, but I figured if I added this microphone, whatever was maybe not working properly. Oh, I've got other little things here. What is this? Oh, look, I can do different images. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Okay, what's this one? Let me see. What does that one do? Nothing. Okay. Um. Oh, this one gives me like redder lips. Wow, that's fun. Let me see. Underwater. Okay. Wow, that's kind of cool, right? Whoa, that's like, I think I might stay in this mode. Let me see what happens when I put it on. Look at like, I want to see what goes on and how it looks here. Hold on, let me just. Oh, that's kind of cool. I put it on. Look at like, I want to see what goes on and how it looks here. Hold on, let me just. Oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool. Put it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just sort of, I'm going to go ahead and leave it with this, oh, it's so freaking cool, right? I mean, come on. Okay. I don't know if you can hear, let me see if you can hear a song. Let me see if you can hear me play music at the same time. Let's try this. It's a hashtag feud, the tension brews, opinions clash like unstoppable views. Okay, I'm just checking. A digital brink where patience shatters with each post and each fight. Maybe you don't hear it. I don't know if it takes the sound of that out. Maybe you don't hear it. I don't know if it takes the sound of that out. Well, mine's a keyboard. So go to war if that's what makes you feel alive. I think you can hear it a little bit. I'll take it personally, but won't take it offline. It's like a drug, it's poison in my mind. My thumb is the trigger, and I've got you in my sights. And if it's all part of God's plan, I'd like to have a word with him. I'm not a fan, so take me to war. I hope it makes you feel alive. I'll take it personally, but won't take it offline. All right, so I am live streaming on my cell phone. I just recently upgraded to a iPhone 17 Pro Max with 1 terabyte of. So yeah, I am wanting to, first of all, with my reporting job that everybody wants to say that I don't do, or. However, and I want to give a shout out to David Schurter, who, I don't know, somehow today he talked about how I'm going to live in a shitty apartment for the rest of my life. So, hey, David, this is my shitty apartment. So, but getting back, I mean, and I'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later, but it's like, why spend this entire stream talking about David Schroeder or like the negativity that's, on YouTube? Because in a way, I don't want this to be a drama channel. Like, this is not like, my concept of, what Not My Rabbit Hole is. And so, but yeah, I'm working as a student journalist. I've been writing for a paper called The Collegian, which is at Fresno State. And I'm a senior reporter, so I was hired on staff. I've written like several articles this semester. And my beat has been artificial intelligence, but I have covered a few different events. And thank you. I'm glad to get. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. Yeah, artificial intelligence is very interesting. Especially, it's interesting how it's being brought into academia and how it is being brought into the workforce. And of course, it's rather controversial. And there are things that people need to really understand how artificial intelligence really works and what are the things to be aware of. For example, there's something called ChatGPT psychosis. It's really important to look in to see how the data centers, the AI data centers are affecting the environment. For example, let's say you do 50 ChatGPT prompts, maybe to do your homework. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. I appreciate that. Prompts, like, for example, this is like kind of like the regular size of like a water bottle that people carry. Maybe this is a little bit smaller, but 50 prompts would use that much amount of water. So it really uses a lot of water. Now, let me specify, I know I'm going off on AI data centers, but the water isn't fresh water. It could be dirty water, but nonetheless, it's taking billions of gallons of water just to support even like, let's say 3 states, let alone like what's happening in the country. So we really need to be thinking about where we're going to, what the ramifications are. Like I watched a video recently where a woman married a chatbot. And I know that there's like those, freak stories that come out there where, somebody marries their dog or they marry some plushy toy or something like that. There's always that bizarre woman that, marries something that is odd. But it's odd and it's kind of sad that people are finding more comfort in a chatbot relationship than a real human relationship. And the chatbot, by the way, if you're using a prompt, like let's say a large language model like ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok, they're designed to please the prompter. So it will say things and it's gotten in trouble. Like the ChatGPT has said things that have instructed people to do destructive things. For example, one of the headlines that I want to research this, but one of the headlines that I read recently was that ChatGPT instructed, verified, agreed that somebody should kill somebody and gave the details on how to do it. Because AI, again, is not going to go, wow, this is a moral issue. Maybe I shouldn't give this person information or be supportive, because the AI chatbot is programmed to please the prompter. And so, people need to realize that AI also can be biased in the research, and you have to double check the links that you're using. But it is something that is being brought into the workforce in many different applications. Some people are going to lose their jobs. There's going to be some jobs that are going to be replaced because you can do in AI really, really, fast and quick, or those jobs will be shifting and adding AI into it. One of the things that's really interesting is how AI is being integrated into the art world, and how somebody could, go in the prompt, say, I want this type of image, and then paint or use graphics over that. And there are designers or, artists that are coming out being known for using AI within. It has to be transformative. It can't be just like, oh, here's this image and I can use it. It's got to be transformative. I see I have a couple of things that a couple of you guys in the chat saying something. Remember my glasses that my mom got me for Thanksgiving. These are blue rimmed, but I've got different colors now. The New Land Barons. Hey Terry. Hi, Siren and Rui. Hi. Thank you for being in the chat today. There's a lot of negativity, happening and being said, and a lot of negative things, a lot of defamation, a lot of lies about me are being spread on the internet, and it's being done intentional. And one of the things what's interesting when you look at, let's say, collective cyberbullying and cyber defamation on the internet, it's interesting to observe how there will be repeat people, and they all high five each other, right? They all like, woo, like whenever they say something about somebody, they're in there to make a comment, or say something in the chat really negative about you, like perpetuate more of a lie on you. And they'll say things like ritually together, like for example, I could probably bullet point things that are said about me, like I'm a failed comedian, a failed journalist, I wear a wig, I'm fat, I'm old, I'm a hag, I'm a child trafficker. These are like, and someone like David Schurter even says even like more disgusting things. Oh, I've got a studio, like this, another rumor that's going around. I have a barely legal CP studio where I am grooming or finding underage people to come in and, do these videos or do whatever. And David's like, saying, well, you live in a shitty apartment. I'm like, well, think about this, David. Like, let's just break this down. Why would a child trafficker, right, or someone who is like apparently, like people who do that are supposedly making a bunch of money? Where's my studio at? Like, how do I afford a studio if I'm living in a shitty apartment? I mean, and I don't think my apartment's shitty, but I'm a woman of simple means right now. So explain, like, where's the money going for? Like, it's like I'm working as a journalist and I'm a graduate student, getting a degree in creative nonfiction writing. Like, I don't know, David, or anybody else out there, have you, like, when you go to graduate school, it's like a lot, okay? It's a lot. Like, I have to write a thesis in a couple of years to graduate. Like, every, class is like 4 units. I'm like, there are things, like my schedule is super busy. And, if you notice on Not My Rabbit Hole, yeah, I do live stream. I do things because this also is part of what I do. Like having a podcast and, being a journalist and, doing all these different things, they all intersect. Like I took podcasting classes, and frankly, let me tell you if you're curious about where Not My Rabbit Hole is. Yeah, I'm here on YouTube. This is kind of like my primary place where I do bring up content, but also I'm on Rumble. I stream. I oftentimes restream my streams on X. Sometimes I stream them on Facebook if they're right for Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I haven't streamed on TikTok in a long time, but I still have been uploading here and there onto TikTok. And again, I put different kinds of content in different places. And I also started to upload and be on Spotify as well. And so, I've reproduced my show I've got like I've changed the look of it. I have my own music now. If you notice, like a lot of times I will break into segments. I do research in a presentation. And some of the things that I'm going to focus on while I'm on Not My Rabbit Hole is what I've noticed. There's a lot of things going on in like super soldier world. And for example, those of you who follow this particular topic, just recently, James Rink passed away, who did Super Soldier Talk. And I had done some, well, I had done some looking into the different types of platforms that I feel are pretty bogus. And I don't mean to speak ill of James Rink, and I'm sad to see that he has passed away. That's never anything. So R.I.P. James Rink. I did disagree with his show, right? I did disagree with his it was like anybody who came on and talked about because the Super Soldier programs kind of turn into like a subculture folklore. And he didn't really have discernment on whether somebody's telling the truth or not. And how do you have discernment around this particular topic, right? I mean, that's one big question. But there's a documentary that was done, and I've shown it on Not My Rabbit Hole. I mean, I've shown parts of it and done my own commentary over it. And it's called Oki's Weird Stories, and it was about how I infiltrated a bizarre internet cult. I think that's something like what the title is. And he infiltrates Super Soldier Talk by studying all the different things that they said and the repeated stories that are agreed upon within that group. And he was a total phony. So if somebody who's a total phony can infiltrate into this group, then how many other people aren't real in it? So I was thinking about later on, maybe this week, maybe again, I'm finishing up my semester, so I am super busy, but I was thinking maybe like on Sunday I might do some coverage on James Rink. Not like I wouldn't be like really super harsh, right? But just in an overview of him and some of the things that I was privy to or being a part of, being that I myself go back to 2014 with all of this and the progression of it having been through Revolution Radio. And I hope I can find them, but James Rink used to have these really cool, I mean, amazing dance videos that were on Instagram. And if I find them, I think that it might be fun to watch some of that. I guess I'm kind of like an anthropologist about this because I'm fascinated by the subculture and the folklore, and then trying to pick apart and see what might actually be real pertaining to it. But let me put my glasses on again, so let me see what you guys are saying. Sorry you had to experience all those controls. Thanks, Rui. Yeah, it's nice that you're saying it in past tense. Like, unfortunately, it's not really over. It's probably going to be really ramped up. Especially right now. I think sometimes they come at you more if they know that you're, converging on a goal or something like that, because they want you to be traumatized or worried about them, right? I will say there are a couple things that I would like to address on this stream, and talk about this in more of like an educational or a legal sense as well. There is a person on YouTube that has taken my name, my legal name, and the name that I write under, where probably I will be published when I have, my creative nonfiction published, or or how that's my name on the Collegian as a writer, which is Terry Joyce Randolph. Like, for a really long time, I just went by Terry Joyce as a comedian. It was easy to remember, but Randolph is my married last name. My real last name was hard to pronounce, so I kind of made things easier, and I was just Terry Joyce. But over time, more by this group, that name has been, abused in a way by them. Like, every time they're attacking me, they want that, for starting back to Angela Power Disney. Angela Power Disney would throw in my last name when she was like, verbally assaulting me or accusing me of whatever because of, my reporting on her or my take on her as being not an authentic, SRA survivor or, MK Ultra DID, basis project. My feeling was that she had meddled in a lot of people's personal lives and did more damage to alleged victims than she did, actually bring anything to light or really change anything. And my feeling is that because this topic that we're talking about is the way it is. I mean, right now, even in the United States, the whole thing about Jeffrey Epstein is just, everybody's we're all up in arms about it. It isn't going away. There seems to be like so much suppression and so much opposition or acknowledgement by our administration, this current administration, or people that are in power, to the victims. Right now, of course, there's a lot of stuff coming out about Virginia Giuffre's book and things that happened to her, but we're still like in a way as a society in a crisis over the conversation and the truth of the matter of this. And these are things that Max Spears did talk about. These are things that have been mentioned for most of the time that I've ever been on the media, like in this media, in this pocket of media. And I think that there are these players right in here that are like a web of provocateurs. Like, when people talk about David Schroeder at this point, from what I have experienced and analyzed, he's more like a distraction, a provocateur, somebody who wrote a book. There's a lot of people in this media that wrote books. Oh, I did the quotation marks like David. That wrote books that just because they wrote the book, somehow like what they wrote in that book somehow like legitimizes them because it was written in a book. Not necessarily, unless you can corroborate what you wrote in that book, your what you said and how you said it, and what your testimony is just your testimony. Like, in order to really prove something, you have to have like real facts, a real, something to signify that, you were at Bohemian Grove as a child and Nixon essayed you. Like, those are things that when we started in this media, we didn't really verify. We just took what everybody said. We took everybody at face value, that everybody was being honest about such a heinous crime against people and children and however, we were all, like, I remember talking about Jeffrey Epstein in 2014, 2015, before it became any type of mainstream conversation. So, I think that there are these people that have used and spun this. They've spun it politically. They've been story weavers on the internet. You can tell that the dissemination of a lot of the information was not organic. That's the whole thing about Laura Dilley's research paper. And that analysis is based on software research. Like, there were things that happened online that were intentional. And I think that there are players like David Schurter, or let's say, the predator catcher community's hoax, all these people, all these guys that point fingers at each other and, oh, you had my kids' pictures and you have this and you have that and blah, 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 blah. And, how is this an example of what a predator catcher community is? Or is this the white noise, the clown show, the distraction, the deflectors, the chaos over something that really does need to be looked at, that needs to have a discerning eye on it? See, I'm more inclined to go in that direction. A lot of the people that I've observed, in this pocket of YouTube, which also includes, David Schurter, people like Rebecca Dean, that whole line of like, I see like groups of people going from one person's channel. There's like, I could say Andrea's in it, like people that I see in these chats. And I'm not saying something bad about Andrea, but there's a whole group that kind of, a name, Scotty comes up. I don't know who he is, but he's mentioned a lot. There's Tams gets involved in it. Becky gets involved in it. Somehow Tacos is adjacent to it. Hoax gets involved. Thomas Schoenberger gets his hand in there on some of the chats, especially if they're attacking somebody like me. And somehow I have been pulled into this pocket of people. And there is something that I would like to say to Becky Dean. It's cyber stalkers using my name on your channel and then harassing me on your channel and talking. I know you're saying defamatory things. You had Denise on your show. I haven't listened to it, but I know Denise has perpetuated the same lies as David Schurter has, the same lies as Thomas Schoenberger had about me grooming. Like, apparently I've been grooming teenagers and this and that. I mean, she made the phone call at my job. Like, how much more evidence of that kind of defamation, of malicious defamation and intent to spread a lie into my own workplace? That's cyber stalking. So, Becky, you had a woman who actually invaded my personal life, left like nasty messages on my cell phone, probably knitted a voodoo doll of me. That hasn't really been confirmed, but the website associated to it that released that video was harassing me and and saying my professor's name in my chats before she made that phone call. So they were stalking me, threatening me, and Becky Dean has threatened me, threatened to call my job, threatened to do this, threatened to do that, blah, 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 blah. Look, all of this is evidence. And there are especially in Springfield, Ohio, her cyber stalking laws went stronger, and she was part of that happening, really. And yet here she is risking her own criminality to do what she's doing on the internet. When you put somebody's name as your channel name and you are defaming them and harassing them, I mean, the fact that you're talking about my appearance and making insults about my physical appearance, that is actually against the community guidelines. You cannot put somebody's name up there and do that at the same time. That's the criminal aspect of it. That's the cyber stalking aspect of it. And unfortunately, Becky, you have messed up by doing that. Even if you were to change my name at this point, I have evidence of you doing so. And there's no difference between Becky's channel using my name And the Anon returns using my name as their handle as well. You are putting me in the handle of your channel. Well, not you, Becky, but you have my name. You're using my identity that I have am building up in my own personal professional branding. My name as a journalist. You are using that and spreading lies about me. And I'm sure somebody's going to be like telling her about this. But I'm asking you, and I'm trying to get your attention, to remove my name, because I'm going to take action against you on that, Becky. That is not okay. That is over the line. Just like David Schurter saying what he's saying, and then saying the city that I live in over and over, and saying these disgusting sexualized comments about me. Like, why don't I'm so male, why don't I put on a strap on and bang Thomas Schoenberger's cornhole? And I'm saying that nice, all right? Because he said it the vulgar way. And the anger and the threats and the lies, and you know what? It's not just me. I mean, thank God. I mean, I have company of other people being harassed by these same people. Like Becky now, first, like it was like Terry Joyce Randolph, targeted by Terry Joyce Randolph and Irvy Purvey, Urban Disciple. Now it's Daniel Dowd. It's like whomever she has a problem with, or whomever other YouTuber that has actually backed me in some way and called her out. That's the other name that gets changed in the title of her video. No, here's the deal. People see how we act on the internet. People see, and they can tell if you're lying about somebody. I can sit back and verify, like David Schurter, I can verify you. I have people who witness me going to school. I'm sitting in the classrooms. I'm actually interviewing people. I'm turning in articles. Like David goes, they need to be investigated. Great, come investigate me. I am not worried about, but I have nothing to hide. Like my life is transparent, and anything that I've ever done in my life that is savory or maybe not that cool, I have like accepted responsibility for it. But don't stretch it out and make it more of a lie than it really is, and then use that in my workplace to get me fired. Okay? That's where the line crosses. Like, I really don't care if you think that I'm funny, or you think I'm fat, or I got a nose this or that, or I'm wearing a wig. If you want to waste your time making comments about how my hair's a wig, or make cartoons about how my hair's a wig, I feel sorry for you creatively. Because I know a lot of you guys out there, you're content creators, you're artists, you're being sourced. I think you're being sourced by somebody who has an agenda against a group of people, and then he's like throwing out lawsuits on them and all this kind of stuff, trying to suppress free speech, trying to get a big cash out from MSU University. And there is a way to prove that this is orchestrated, and it is collectively, and it is all those same people, and they all seem to connect into something else. And my title of my show is not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce. My handle is not my rabbit hole. It reads Not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce. My name. This is my channel. You don't have a right to use my name on your channel. That's my business. You're affecting my business, because this is a business. I am in media. And I have made a name as a comedian. I have a name. People can research that. I have a resume. I can prove my past professionally. And so when you play those games, then those are legal reasons to either, get restraining orders, protective orders, lawsuits, defamation lawsuits. You can go down the line. You might think in your mind that, oh, I'm just, whatever and blah, 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 blah. But I'm not that. I have earned a degree. I have rights. I have a right to sue for your defamation. And if I lost money on it, or if I suffer, money, if I lost money and I suffer emotional distress, that's a reason for you to be sued and have to pay me money for what you've done. The fact that I noticed that David Schroeder was using a white nationalist and an anti-Semite as a source against Gabe Hoffman that's connected to a hate, a forum called Kiwi Farms. But I find that to be really interesting. Why is there a connection here? Why is there a link here in this? It makes David look really bad. It makes David look like, he doesn't source or he doesn't fact check what's sent to him in the middle of the night. Who sent him that information? That guy contacted him, and then that guy's connected to Denise Mattow and defending Denise Mattow. It's one big little circle of people. And there is racism connected to it. There is nothing wrong with me pointing that out. And there's nothing wrong with me pointing out that there are racist things saying within one another in chats within this group. And that there has been, for example, Holocaust deniers. Holocaust denying on their channels. I mean, if I have evidence of that, and I make a podcast out of it, and I do an analytical analysis of what's happening on the internet with a certain group of people, the fact that you're harassing me, it doesn't really apply, really. That, if I can show facts or show receipts that go along with my argument, you can't, that's not suable if you said it, if you did it, if I show evidence. That's not harassment. What's harassment is when you make things up with no evidence and accuse someone like me of trafficking children or grooming teenagers or supporting pedophiles, Becky. You see, I'm not saying that about you, Blazing Scar. You're saying that about me. I'm not lying about you. I'm commenting on what you're doing, and I'm asking you to take my name off of your channel. And if you don't, all right, even regardless, we are past the okay line here of this. Right? I have legal rights. And trust me, I will exercise them at this point. I'm done with dealing with it, and I don't feel like I have to defend myself against you guys. It's not up to me to prove my innocence to you guys. It's up to you to stop the malicious defamation on the internet, because there are legal consequences to that. You have no proof of your allegations, and it stems from a person who claims that he is a musician. The helm of it, the rumor started with Thomas Schoenberger. And if you were repeating that same malicious defamation in lines, and you can prove that Johnny Dub, aka Brian Word, is showing Thomas Schoenberger's emails to him third party. It's on David's blog site. Like, we're not that dumb, David. We're not that dumb. So my feeling about everybody is you need to reconsider. I suggest it stops on your part, because I'm not your lolcow. I'm not going to lie down and take it. I have a right to defend what I have created for myself and for the career that I deserve to have. You're not getting in the way. And there will be consequences of your actions. And it may take me a long time. I may have to do a lot of research. The laws are changing. But I will create awareness about how this happens on the internet. And if those laws don't exist, I might participate in helping those laws actually really happen. Because it's malicious, it's cruel, it's intentional, and it's meant to harm somebody, either emotionally, mentally, whatever, psychologically. It's psychological warfare. And it doesn't just happen to me. So, Becky has done it before. Yeah, she has done it before. She has. Becky has many names. Yes. Oh, she has many names. Hi, Aiken. Gaslighting. Yeah, like Becky, we've all witnessed what you've done. We all know your MO. Nobody's fooled. And it's really too bad that she went and did an interview and acted like a victim. And she's doing this because I suspect that's going to really boomerang on her really hard. Even that beckons, like, why? Were you a phony the whole time? Because Becky doesn't act like somebody who was a victim of cyber stalking and cyber harassment. If you were a person like that and you cared about it, you wouldn't be doing it to other people. You wouldn't be associated with somebody like Thomas Schoenberger. Thomas Schoenberger shares her stuff about me. He shares Nasty Tool Media stuff. He shares David Schroeder's stuff. He backs a guy who almost daily calls him a child trafficker and everything, hideous things, daily. But there's no lawsuit for David Schroeder. Oh no, because David Schroeder is there. There's a reason. David Schroeder is helpful. David Schroeder is an attack dog for Thomas Schoenberger's targets, for the people that he wants to sue, for the people that he wants to intimidate. Whether David Schroeder is aware of it or not, that's exactly what he's doing. And what I find really interesting about the last video that I did is that he was basically admitting that he would participate in helping Thomas Schoenberger take us down legally. And he said David Schroeder said that Thomas Schoenberger had, was the only person out of this entire group that had a brain. Really? But you're going to say that about somebody and, support somebody that you scream and cry that's harassing you and trafficking children. Like, David Schroeder doesn't make any sense anymore right now. And he's a problem. He's a problem. He has streamed angry for days and mentioned my name every freaking day and said disgusting, foul things and accusations about me. You know, there are consequences to doing that. So, that's kind of what I wanted to say. And then I wanted to play with doing a vertical stream. I kind of like this. I kind of like this cool color. I might do this here and there. I'm going to like play a song out just to see, like, when I do my playback, I just kind of want to hear what it sounds like. But anyways, I'm excited to bring some stuff to you, and who knows what direction this channel is going to grow in or what's in the future. I just want to say thank you for those who are watching my channel and joining in my chats and everything. I really appreciate it, and I know, like Rui, you have been with me for a long time, and so it's always nice to see you here. Seren says, I think she was lying about Brenda. I'm not sure of the whole Brenda thing. Was Brenda the person that she got a protection against? I don't know. I mean, there's such a history with everything. So, okay, so let me see. Let me see what we want to play. Let's do the paranormal Fresno Nightcrawlers. Can you hear that? Go check the feed, late night 2007. Fresno way ahead. Hold this camera caught a sight, dogs barking some legit. Two figures gliding by, no arms, no head, just legs so long. They're walking past. Oh, it retouches you. Wow. So glad they ain't got feet, now that's a crazy breed. Let's go down to Fresno and go night crawler hunting. I know it ain't my town, but it sounds like something I'll see before I die and make it to the sky and have a story for you to take to your grave. Two figures gliding by, no arms, no head, just legs so long. The walking pants, Fresno night crawlers on patrol. So paranormal, like out of an old journal. You know it's paranormal, like your ex or Yoko Ono. They're so paranormal, like out of an old journal. You know it's paranormal, like your ex or Yoko Ono. They're so paranormal. Okay, so I'll probably come up with a different title for this live stream than what I have right now. But Rui says, "Hi Bella." Rui says, "We the people really do appreciate our We the People content creators. Yay! Thank you, and welcome Bella." And okay, I gotta figure out how I end this stream. How do I end this? Let me see. Maybe it's this. Yep. Bye, you guys. Thanks for joining me.